Jimmy B. and Manuch, how are you today, pal?
Feel great, guys. Always a pleasure.
Thank you, pal. Here we go. I want to pick your brain right from the get-go. Isaiah Simmons gets turned down by the Cardinals on his fifth-year option. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think there's a number of factors. One is, I'm not sure the Cardinals know where they're going to use him. He's been already bounced around to several positions on the defensive side of the ball. He's got tremendous ability, but I don't know that the Cardinals have found his fit yet. I don't know if they understand where he fits in Jonathan Gannon's scheme. And quite frankly, look, I understand players have agents, and players got to do what they got to do to get the contract they want to maximize their value. But to the best of my knowledge, Isaiah Simmons hasn't been at any of the voluntary activities, since this new staff took over. And, regardless of what your contract situation is, when, I've been through it, when you get an entirely new staff, you've got to reprove yourself all over again, particularly when this new staff comes in and wants to establish a new culture and find the right leaders to lead that culture shift. And Isaiah Simmons hasn't been around this offseason to prove his value, to prove that he's all in, and whatever his contract situation is heading into next season, that he wants to be a part of this rebuild.
So, and we were talking about this a little bit earlier, Kyle, is that we just don't want to see this turn into another Hassan Reddick kind of scenario. First round pick, don't pick up his option. He moves on, goes to Carolina, now he's at Philadelphia, because they used him, I felt, at the right position. I think the Cardinals did that his last year here, as that weak outside linebacker. I think that is the position for one Isaiah Simmons, and I think that they would recognize that without any other, mitigating circumstances of him not being there. Budda Baker's not here. He's not here. Do they not see the potential and the talent, or are they in the mindset that if you want to be here, we allow you to go to free agency next year and maybe we match it?
Yeah, he's not familiar with this staff, and they're not familiar with him. And I feel like, Isaiah Simmons missed an opportunity to put his best foot forward to a new staff. So I think, it's been a bit cryptic. It seems like maybe he had some sort of off-season procedure, and I don't really know what that involves. Maybe shoulder. But without getting eyes on him, without seeing how he moves around, without, this staff has no idea. They're kind of left, if he doesn't come to off-season things, left to try to evaluate where he's at when he shows up for training camp. So, I understand Monty Ossenfort's position, Jonathan Gannon's position. You don't necessarily just want to blindly throw money at somebody based on a few highlight plays that he's had. And quite frankly, I understand it may have been better for Isaiah Simmons had he been put at one position, be allowed to, struggle there, but grow and learn that new position and excel at just one spot. But I think one of the biggest knocks on him is just his level of inconsistency, where one game he might have 10 tackles and make, 2 or 3 huge plays, and then he might disappear the next week. So, I think specifically, Jonathan Gannon with his defensive coordinator background, I think that's one of the biggest worries of a defensive coordinator is you never know what play is going to be, the guy that has the ups and the downs, and that's what you can't account for.
Kyle Vanden Bosch is our guest. It's Rock and Manuch with Jimmy B on Fox Sports 9, Ken. And Kyle is on the Right Toyota guest line. All right, we're going to go to the draft now, and let's pick your brain a little bit. First, on the offensive side, where they take Paris Johnson, the offensive lineman, and then they take Olalari, thank you, spit that one out of LSU for defense. Let's start first on offense, Kyle.
Yeah, I really like let me first off say I love the player. Look, he was widely regarded as the top offensive tackle. Seems like a great person. Was a 4.0 student in high school. Really athletic. For how big he is at 6'6", 312, he moves really well. He's very athletic, kid, and recovers well. So that helps with, some of the twitchy edge rushers that he might have to face in the National Football League. He's got a few things that he can improve on, particularly trying to move guys off the ball. Some of the things he does in the run game, thinking his hips, staying low, some of those things. But he's just, he's your prototype left tackle, which I'm assuming at some point, if it's not this year, in the near future, he'll get moved to that left tackle spot. So I loved it. I think it was a home run, and not just that we got him. I think Monty Ossenford did a masterful job. I think a new GM, his first year in the role, would just kind of dip his toe in the water and just go by the board. But he was willing to take risks and really got some value with the trades that he made.
I think that I thought they addressed their needs. Even though I'm an offensive guy, I would like to have seen Will Anderson Jr. be that number one guy at the number 3 when they made that trade. But all that being said, as Jimmy just been Ojulari, that edge guy. Look at the 2 edge rushers last year. Look at Garrett Williams at corner. That in need was addressed. Michael Wilson, a receiver, not knowing what the scenario is going to be with. When you look at D-Hop, yeah, where that adds up. So I think what I saw, I want to get your thoughts on this, Kyle, is did they address the needs or must-haves, at least in this year's draft, looking forward to next year's draft, where you have 11 draft picks?
Yeah, look, it's not just 11 draft picks. You've got 6 picks in 2 rounds, likely two picks in this roster after this season. Again, that's a credit to Monty Ossenford. But I agree with you. I think, look, you weren't going to fill every hole. You weren't going to plug every need, but they got some big ones out of the way.
3 minutes.
I think he's a pure pass rusher, plays with a lot of twitch, a lot of quickness, has a good get off, and plays with tremendous effort. So I think he will be an immediate part of that edge rotation. And, the next 2 picks with Garrett Williams and Michael Wilson, both, showed tremendous when they were on the field, showed a tremendous highlight and tremendous ability when they were on the field in college. My concern is, with the situation this team had last year, you're banking on a couple of young guys with an injury history. So let's just hope, that due diligence was done and that the Cardinals are confident that the injuries that these 2 players have suffered throughout their college careers are in the past.
Do this for me real quick. Explain twitch to the average listener for that defensive lineman. I know what you're talking about. Manucci knows, but it's always an important fact when a guy who played it at such a high level like yourself can explain what that means.
Kyle, twitch and high motor, because you were a high motor guy. Everybody wants to know, what does that all mean?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So
2 minutes.
So twitch is really your explosiveness. There's a lot of athletes so Garrett Williams at corner, he's not necessarily a twitchy corner. He's a very smooth athlete. Like, he doesn't ever look like he's struggling. Just a natural athlete. Twitchy is more something you look for. Quickly can you accelerate once you recognize what's going on? My D-line coach used to call it the 6-inch punch. It's such a valuable tool, particularly for D linemen, where you're in close quarters. How much power can you generate in a short space and in a short amount of time? And that's something that BJ Ojulari had.
Your football vernacular brought to you by one Kyle.
1 minute.
You brought it up to. Hey, just real quick, you got 30 seconds. What's high motor mean?
It's just, regardless of if it's play 1 in the game, play 56 or play 82, you're seeing maximum effort from that player. And even regardless of the game situation, if you're up by 3 touchdowns and you're in there, just pass rushing, or if you're down by 3 touchdowns, you want to see it's about man's character and his respect for the game and his want to make sure the game is played the right way. Those are, that's your Buda Bakers. Those are that type of player where, he's going to go as hard as he can because he loves the game of football and he knows that that's what football is all about.
Always great, man. When you come on the show with us, we always appreciate you.